Hi, I'm Ted from Everything Attachments, and we're here today with a typical tractor. This is a Ford 3600. This is a 1978 model. When I was a teenager, I actually rebuilt this tractor and painted it at my father's dealership and sold it to my neighbor. So we're back here just to show you how general components, what different things are named, and what you can call them and what I call them in the videos so that you can relate to what we're talking about. We're going to show you the 3-point hitch linkage. We're going to show you how the PTO works and how the three-point hydraulic system works in general. And first we're going to start out with the 3-point hitch assembly. Okay, so we're at the back part of this 3600 Ford tractor, and we're going to show you the names of the general components here. The only change that's really been made from the factory, and I like this style, this is on most of the new style tractors, it does have a telescopic style stabilizer system on it instead of the bar that would normally run from the end of your pull bar to your where it hooks for your stabilizers. Everything else is original. He does have hydraulics on here where he can change out and put a hydraulic top link on and a hydraulic side link. Okay, so we're going to just go over the general components here. This is going to be your top link, and this is what's going to adjust the pitch of your implement, whether you make this longer or shorter. So that's an important item, and that's useful in every tool you use. These are what I call the lift links. That's what does the lifting from the hydraulic top cover. This is your hydraulic top cover. All of your hydraulics are underneath that. So this is what does the lifting. On almost all tractors, the right-hand side, and a tractor is always viewed left or right from the operator's position looking forward. So this is the right side, and it has an adjustable side link here, and that's what you're going to use to tilt or angle your box blade or get it level or whatever you're trying to do. This is your drawbar, and that's what you're going to pull like a baler or something with or put a hitch on. This is your 540 RPM PTO. That's an 1 3/8 coarse spline shaft. That's what's going to be commonly used on any tractor from a 53 model and up. Normally, these will have the stabilizer bars that come all the way to here, and the one thing that this is where a lot of tractor people get messed up and have a hard time hooking up their stabilizers. So to make it sure that your stabilizers are in the right position, making them easy to hook up, the one thing that has to be right is the pin from where your drawbar lifts and the pin where your stabilizer comes from must be the exact same height and exactly opposite. If it's up or down or forwards or backwards, as this lift comes up and down, your stabilizer bars will try to not do the same thing, and so it'll get tight and loose and bind up, and you don't want that. So the first thing, make sure that's equal distance there. And then on the hydraulic system for this has a dual lever hydraulic system, and we're going to show you how that works. And we're also going to show you on a 2-stage PTO clutch. Okay, on this 3600, this has a dual lever system, and so I'm going to try to give you the best quick explanation I can. You have one lever called a position lever. That's called position control, and anywhere you put this lever directly relates to where the lift goes to. If I move it just a little bit, the lift should move just a little bit. This is your draft control. Draft control is used for implements that run under the ground, such as a plow. And so all the older tractors from the 50s or even really the early 30s have draft control. Some of them don't even have position control. And what that's used for, when you're plowing or using underground implements and your ground varies from hard to sandy and you want to maintain the same amount of pull on your tractor, it will automatically adjust it through your top link, where your top link hooks. As the plow pulls harder, it will push in on the top link where there's a spring mechanism, and it reads how much pull there is on it to automatically adjust your lift. So with a 2-lever system, what you're able to do, okay, if you were starting your plow, what you would do is set your draft control all the way in its least sensitive position. Then you would let your plow down into the ground and say, okay, well, that's as deep as I want it to plow no matter what. So that's going to be your lowest place it can come. Then you're going to start pulling up on your draft control lever, and that's going to be setting the sensitivity of how much pull your tractor is pulling. So once you get it to where it'll start picking up the plow, if you're at the maximum pull you like, then you can get it to where it'll actually start picking it up. It will lessen the load, and then you can adjust it. You're going to be real close to the adjustment you want for the maximum amount of pull. So if you go with a 2-lever system, when you go into a real sandy area and it can't maintain the same amount of pull, then your position control will set the bottom no matter what. If your ground gets really easy to pull, then your position is the furthest down it can go no matter what to keep your plow from burying itself. If you don't have this system and you're plowing in just draft control, if you get into some really easy ground, it will continue to just go lower and lower, and you may have to adjust the sensitivity to keep your plow from going too deep. But this is the best type of system that was really ever invented, and that's a dual system where you have control of your position and your sensitivity of your draft. On an older style tractor from 53 to 65, you would have a single lever, and then you would have a lever right here you switch, and it's either draft control or position. It's an either or lift. So it still has draft, it still has position, they just won't work together. And now we're going to show you how some of the PTO systems work. Okay, so now we're going to go through the most common PTO system. And what everybody would like to have is some form of live PTO. Live PTO means that you have the ability to stop and start your tractor while leaving your PTO running. If you just have a manual PTO, when you push your clutch in to stop your tractor, it will stop the PTO shaft on the back also. So that's your 1 3/8 coarse spline PTO right in the middle of your lift that's going to power your rotary tillers, your bush hogs, or whatever. There's 3 main kinds of PTO, and there's a lot of different variations. You have manual PTO, which means it's going to stop when you push your clutch in to stop your tractor. You have live PTO that's done with a 2-stage clutch, which is what this is, and I'm going to explain that. And then you have independent PTO, which is simply with a lever or a button on or off anytime, whether the tractor's in gear or not, unrelated to the clutch. It is a form of live PTO, and it's on or off anytime you want it. That's why it's independent, because it's independent of the clutch. But this is a 2-stage clutch, so if your PTO, if you were bush hogging and you were driving right now and I wanted to slow down or back up, I could push the clutch halfway down and that would stop my tractor, let me change gears, slow up, it would leave my rotary cutter running. If I wanted to stop both the tractor and the PTO, I would continue to push down on the clutch and then everything would stop. And you can feel a noticeable difference. There's the first stage, and that's your drive clutch, and then the second stage is your PTO clutch. So this is a very good system. I wish they still had it on some of the new tractors today, but the independent is what most people are going with now, and we'll show you how that works also. Most PTOs engage with a lever. On this particular tractor, it's right here, forwards or backwards, just to engage your PTO, and you would engage that with your clutch fully down. Okay, on this Ford tractor, we're going to show you how you would do a general startup procedure for a diesel. Most tractors are going to be the same. On this particular tractor, it has an 8-speed transmission. This is your main gears over here, and this is your high and low range. Your high and low range has to be in neutral to crank, and if you've got an older Ford and it won't crank sometimes, you may have to wiggle this lever just a little bit to catch that safety switch. Then you would do, if it was a cold day, you would do the key in the backwards position for about 30 seconds and then continue to crank it on the right. This is normally located for your throttle position. This tractor does have power steering. I hope yours does. Most of the really hard work would be done in low range. Mowing and other things of speed will be done in high range. In this particular tractor, it's not a synchronized transmission. You can kind of change on the go. It may do just a little bit of scraping. A lot of the new ones are coming with a synchronized transmission and a forwards and reverse synchronized to change directions where you're not having to change just your main sticks here. On most of the new tractors today that are four-wheel drive compact tractors, you can't really steer a tractor with the brakes. In the older days, most every tractor was a two-wheel drive, and the brakes are independent here, can be totally operated independent. And in most cases, everybody used them to actually slide one tire to turn the whole tractor so it would turn really sharp. But you can't really do that in the four-wheel drive. It'll just kind of put it in a bind. So this is your brake lock up here. Yours could be located anywhere, but if you want to try to see how to steer a tractor, if you've got a four-wheel drive compact, simply put it in two-wheel drive. There's a lot of things that you might find it convenient to lock down one brake or the other to spin the tractor around in a really short distance, much shorter than you can turn a four-wheel drive tractor around in. Okay, so on a Ford 3600, this tractor without a loader or anything special is in about the 5,000 pound range, which would be really heavy for a compact tractor nowadays. So these two-wheel drive tractors in the 5,000 pound range did really good just simply because of their weight. This tractor would handle mostly 6 and 7 foot equipment. Any type of dirt working equipment, I probably would use 7 foot stuff on it. Rotary cutters, things like that that are heavy and long back behind the tractor, probably 6 foot. As you go into the compact tractors, this is only a 40 horsepower tractor on the PTO, but if you look at the new tractors, sometimes you can find a tractor that weighs only half this much with that much horsepower. So the weight of a tractor is as important as sizing any implement as the power is. So if you have any questions, you can always call us or email us at Everything Attachments, and we'll be happy to make sure that you get the right size attachment for your tractor. Hope you found this informative, and we'll be happy to do more of these. We're going to do as many videos as we can.